What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. The only show on the whole YouTube internet streamer thing that put really hot coffee on expensive consoles. Apparently, in the comment section this week, it was the thing that you guys were concerned about. I don't know why. I seem to piss a lot of people because I put my coffee on my console. First, okay, get it. It's a hot coffee on a really expensive console, because we're going to talk about really expensive console later on the show, just relating to my experience that I had this week with the Allen & DS 5000 Surface, the D-Life, and yeah, for some reason you guys don't like that I just put a coffee on something that I own. I don't want to go the route of, well, I own it, I can do whatever I want with it, which is actually true. I have the right to repair it. I have the right to destroy it. It's all up to me what I do with my thing. I do not recommend you guys put a coffee on here, but for the show, I like it. It just makes more sense that I'm using this as my desk, because I could not have a console, more stuff on the side. You see, the frame here is really tight. My room, my YouTube studio is really tight. I'm just doing this with my arm and I'm out of frame already. So having desk, other stuff, it would make absolutely no sense. But you guys are not here to watch coffee on consoles. You guys are here to talk about the wing. Oh no, did I just broke up my... Oh no, my cameras are broken. I should switch camera while doing this. I can do it with my keyboard. No, I can't. Hold on. I can still do it with my keyboard. There you go. This is what you guys sign up for. Some tips and tricks about the wing and other stuff. If I can put the console in frame, it will be better. There we go. And if I push back on that little knob here, I don't know. I don't know if it's my Reaper session, or I don't know if it's the console, but I'm having a lot of problem with MIDI right now. If you guys have a setup like me where you switch stuff using MIDI on your console, let me know in the comments below or in the live chat if you are watching live. What's happening with that on your end? I'm having a lot of problem with mine. I may have done something wrong on my end. I may have loaded another software that interrupt that on my computer. Maybe it's not the console fault, but for some reason I cannot, like I said last week, I cannot get my my MIDI setup to send, like, for this music in and out. I'm gonna try that. No, it's not working either. For my music in and out, I would like to have not a toggle but a push button. But if I'm doing a MIDI push, for some reason, it's not working. The software, OBS, not Reaper. It's been years since I've used Reaper. But OBS doesn't seem to recognize the signal. It doesn't see any signal from the console being grabbed. But when I'm doing MIDI CC toggle, it does. Just pissing off some people. Enjoying your coffee. First, let me say hi to everybody. What's up, Charlie? What's up, Pancho? Make sure to say hi in the chat if you are joining us today. Charlie, you don't have the same problem, but you said you use the MIDI RTP MIDI for running OBS from the DIN port on the back of the wing. Okay, may I ask you why not using the MIDI for that? Are you using it for something else? Because if it's a solution, I would like to go this way. Maybe I need to jump back up on other stuff. Like, I cannot say thank you enough to Patrick Gilles Maillot. Go check out his website. Patrick Gilles Maillot is designing some software to go along with the wing, with Reaper, with the X32. But he designed me a software, or he probably released it, but when I request him to do some stuff with the wing, he made a little software that can be run either on Windows, Mac OS. I don't know about Linux, but I think it's still working. And it's basically allow me to use the custom control to trigger OSC action inside OBS. I need to set that up. I started at some point. It was totally learning a new language for me. So I give it a go. Was not working as expected. So I went back to the MIDI setup because I had a live show and I need to get running. But yeah, I need maybe to dive into this and use just a single cable actually to connect my console, because right now you should see the massive cable that I got in the back of this. I have a MIDI, I have USB, I'm also running a backup over Dante, I'm having on a network the console, so man, no, it's a lot of cable just for no reason. So maybe I should ditch all the USB extension cord and just use like a regular Ethernet cable and do everything over OSC. Maybe I need to dive into this, or I should do like Charlie and switch to Note, not CC. Maybe using Notes is another option, but I'm really comfortable using CC, usually using the push and toggle because you have the two option. Using the difference between a push and a toggle, just in case you don't. When you are, let me do this here. When you are using a toggle, it will toggle between two value, and a push will just give it a value of 127 every time you push it. Otherwise, the state of the MIDI command will remain 0. So it's another way to do different action, like I have on my console, stuff that I want. Actually, it's just so far that you guys cannot see it, but I have my music lights on when the music is on, and usually when I press here, it's turning my CC control knobs off, or back to white, not to orange, and it gives me the status usually of what's happening there. Same as I did, or I usually did before. I don't speak English today. With my camera, I was using two different knobs and they were switching between, so I knew exactly, looking at the console, I knew if I was on this camera or the camera that is. Hold on. Whoa. I hope the stream's not gonna cut. If the stream cut, I will be back, guys. Hold on. See, this is why I don't want to use keyboard. Hit the wrong arrow and everything went to nuts. We're not done. Hold on. I'm still here? Okay. No, I got the status, but usually after 20 seconds it just cut, so we'll see. If it cut, I'll be back. But to avoid those mistakes, this is why I usually have custom action. Like you can see, actually, I have those here. I have my tech problem that I usually use with the pause. I have this view, and I have this view, and I trigger everything from the CC. But when you have the status of that, I can just be looking at the console and see what's going on. And also, I made sure that my running outro button is not next to my camera switching, so I don't do exactly what I just did and accidentally hit up a command. But maybe, I didn't realize if I was doing it, but maybe I hit the command out and this one was working. Let me see if my tech problem is working. No, it's not. My side view is not working either, because usually I have an option to get a third camera if I want to show something on the surface, but yeah, those actions are not working anymore. Let me say hi to Peter. What's up, Peter? If you have any question, make sure to leave them in the chat down below, or to your left or your right, depending on your YouTube configuration. If you're watching in full screen, it's below. If you're watching in theater mode, it will be to the right of your screen, or to this side for you, but to me it's backward. Anyway, you know the drill. But yeah, make sure to leave a comment. We're here to answer your question. This is the purpose of this show, by the way. I'm doing this to help out people with console, with live sound. We can talk about anything that has to do with live sound or the Behringer Wing. Speaking of live sound and Behringer Wing, this week, or should I say last week, that deserves another sip of coffee. last week, I had the pleasure, and I'm not going to say displeasure this time, pleasure of working with the Allen and Neat D-Show, or D-Live. No, D-Show used to be Avid. Totally wrong console here. The D-Live from Allen and Neat. I was using the S5000 Surface with, I don't remember the name of the patch, but it was not the cheapest one. It was the better option for that. And I must say, and I know some of my friends is gonna do a clip of this part, and when they hear me say, I liked it. It did not sound that bad, honestly. Even though if it's 10 times more expensive than a wing, not a bad setup. I must say I was pleased with the sonic result. I'm not a fan of the UI when it comes to Allen and Neat. With these console, the SQ, it's pretty much the same software, even though you cannot take a file from SQ and load it into a D-Live, which really weird. But yeah, I liked it. It sounded really good. I had really good comment. I was doing a kind of big event where I had 10 wireless mic, with guesses and chorus vocal. I was doing that. I had a full band. I had, video cues coming in. I was dealing with a total of 56 input with the talkbacks, because every, the band leader had a talkback. I had a talkback. Front of house had a talkback. The video guys were sending out some stuff. I had a podium microphone because it was a gala, so people who had their prize got, a podium microphone to say thank you to my mother, my girlfriend, and everybody else. And dealing with that with the D-Live, doing also 1624, was it 16 or 24 bus? No, it was 16 bus on 30 something inputs, because I was dealing with stereo in-ear monitors. I had all the singers and all the band members in stereo, and I had 3 floor monitor, or actually 5 floor monitor on 3 different mixes. A mono pair for the center of the room, and a mono pair for the 2 girls that were singing with us, and I had also a guest guitar players I was changing from time to time, and those were using wedge. Those who were using floor monitor too. For guitar, not ideal, but it was working. But seriously, I had a good time. It's not a bad interface. It's not a bad system overall. It sounded really good. I must say it sounded as good as any other high-end flagship console could be, honestly. But yeah, had a good time. Had a good time with these. Good evening, Stems Recording Studio. What's up, man? Good to have you back. Tommy, hey. It's been a while, man. Good to have you back at the show. What's your favorite thing about the new updates? What is my favorite thing about the new updates? I think the show control stuff is really cool. Actually, what I showed before, which is in the library. Hold on, let me not cancel the stream this time. Something really cool that I discovered in the library. I don't know how well you can see it on a camera, but you have... with 1.13, it's not actually 2.0, but with 1.13, we introduced something else in the naming of the file. You can have a big name with something smaller on the bottom of it. It happened when you save a show. You can see that little character here, that that like S on the side next to the save button if you ever want to use it. As soon as you introduce that character, it will create another line. It will display on another line a different, smaller message or name. So you can do exactly what I did in my video. You can have your band name, and you can have that little sign enter the city, so you know exactly what's the band, or if you have a replacement that it happens sometimes when a band member cannot show up, you can save that show file and say, oh, it's bass player 2. It's a mix with bass player 2, so you have his in-ear mixes saved, you have the overall mix saved, and his channel saved, and everything. And you can basically leave a note on the snap file, which I believe is the best. One of the best feature to go with this. Hold on, putting my phone, always forgetting to put my phone into do not disturb mode, right? Yeah. That's one of the coolest feature from 2.0. Basically, 2.0 is all about the library. It's all the features that were introduced or were there before that were reintroduced, and some were added, like the clip thing. Huge, hold on. Huge fan of the clip thing. If you're running a musical, you can actually have your tracks playing with snippet change that you can do, so you can run a musical way easier with the wing. It was one of the biggest complaints that people were saying, I wish we could have cues. We now have the snippet for the cues. You know, we can change a couple parameters, record that, and you can create a list. Because when you have a show, hold on, let me do this. Let's grab a show. When you have a show, do I have a show prepared somewhere? Monday live stream, let's open that show. When you have a show, you can create a list of cue, and you can have them recall. It could be different snap from different show. You can have, actually, this is I'm on the internal hard drive of the wing where I have all my roots. Well, I'm basically on the roots of the drive, and I can add stuff to show. So let's say that you program something and you want to change something, or you want to grab something from a show and import it into your library. Let's say that you are doing a new show and you want to import your effects in your channel. If you have them saved here, you can just select an item here and add to show, and I have my Monday live stream here added to the show. If I were to have a USB key on the top left of the console, I can also add song here. I can go USB, add that to my add to show. Click an item, add to show, and basically it create a set list or create a list of action that will happen, and you can recall them using the screen, or you can recall them using the show control button here on your custom control. Have that show control happening, and you can just go next, and it will go through the change to your list of cues. I really like that. It's next level. It's from where it was, it's really next level to the wing. It's comparable to other high-end console when it comes to the list of cues, the amount of micromanagement you can do with the snippets and snap file, and also the clip, and also the effect. Let's say that for one song you want to have your delay, or you pre-program your delay time per song because your band is playing on a click. You can just have, changing your effect delay per song and just recall this next one. Oh, they skipped the song, you skip one, go next, go. You can have all your delay, tempo, and effect ready for that one. An example, something that I like to do is in the famous song Footloose. Everybody knows that, and every single cover band that I'm working with covered that. I have a special slapback delay that is used in the middle of the song, and I like to reproduce that live. I like to work with that. I like to make the performance being live, but going with the spirit, with the idea that was made on the mix on the record. Same thing as another example, when you're mixing Billie Jean, you want to have that bass loud. If you're mixing a Metallica tribute and they're doing any song from Justice for All, you're still putting on the bass this time. You don't stick to the record to that one. I believe, honestly, it was a mistake. Seriously, yeah, those are probably the thing that I like the most about the 2.0. Nothing else really happened. We don't have any new plugin. We don't have any new control thing other than, hold on. We do have in the setup menu, in the remote section, we do have control for the AS50 ports. This is something that I really like. That was not there before. You can say, if you really want to, you can just go lock that off, or say, I'm doing the gain. Press that and you're good to go. Okay, well, my iPad is giving me trouble. Hold on, guys. I need to see the chat. Ah, damn it. This is why I'm doing this. I want your opinion on something, and I want your opinion to you guys watching the show right now, and I especially want your opinion, those of you who watch in playback. I know there was a time change in Europe. I don't think we changed the time here. When is the time zone change in the US? I don't even know. Did we? And I just didn't know it. This is why I'm feeling weird. Did we change hour this weekend and I don't remember? Oh, this is why maybe. Okay. Sorry, just understood something. But I want to know, guys, do you think it will be better for me to change the streaming time? Last week, change here is on November 5. Thank you very much, Charlie. Appreciate that. Do you think it will be better for me to stream later? Because right now it's 1:30 in the afternoon for me. Should I change it to 8:30 or 7:30 p.m.? Let me ask you, because I did a show last week around that time, and I don't know why. Maybe it's, you guys can figure it out if you believe in that, but I don't know. I feel better doing these when it's later at night, especially, this is the same when I'm doing my videos. I usually record all my videos at night. And I felt like I performed better. I felt like I gave a better show even though we have less people. So I'm wondering, do you guys, if you watched the show last week, if you're watching this one right now, can you guys tell me, what do you think? Do you think it will be better suited for your time? Because I don't know who's watching these show. I know a lot of people of Europe showing. I know a lot of people watching it in playback. I want to get as many people as possible during these live stream. It make it way more entertaining. So this is why I want to know. Do you think it will be a better idea to change the stream time from 1:30 to 8 p.m.? Leave a comment down below once the video is over if you're watching in playback. Let me know, guys, in the chat, what is a better time for you. I can probably do an average, maybe not like 5 o'clock my time, but I can definitely play around. It could be later in the afternoon for me, or later at night for me. Maybe not in the morning, because usually I'm not a morning guy. As you can guess, this is my second coffee today. No, seriously. Let me know, guys. Let me know what you think. So, are we doing a small one today, or you guys have any question that we can move on? Because I don't want to do these stream too long and too boring. So I want to make sure that you guys, you're in the US, so this time is good. Okay. Question from AMX. Did you check the new channel copy interface? Oh, I did check it, but I did not cover it. Maybe we can talk about it a little. Hold on. I'm all lost in the knobs here. Something really cool about the new interface is when you go here, you have the tool section, which basically has everything that used to be in the library before. You can select all the parameters of the channel, an aux, a bus, or anything. You select a channel, which will be displayed here on top. You select all the config that you want to copy over. You just go copy. At least one target must be selected, meaning you must select a channel or a aux or a bus or a main or a matrix that you want to send that information to. Let's say channel 39. As soon as you select that, you can select multiple, by the way. As soon as you make that, you go copy. And I'm going to mute it because I double up my input. But yeah, basically my channel 39 is the same thing as my channel 40, except that one is mute and the other is not. But I really like this new display. It's basically the same thing that we had before, but it's way more it's way more easier, and you can copy to multiple source. Let's say that you have a vocal microphone when you're doing a show exactly like I did last week. When you have 10 microphone, 10 SM58, and you know they're gonna run at the same time, and you know you're not gonna get any sound check time, I just do a preset. I know my SM58. I've been working enough with my SM58 that I know exactly what's going on with them. So you do your preset, copy paste that everywhere, and it usually gonna work just fine. So to save time, you just go, you select it, do your thing, do your preset, do your, oh man, I'm gonna get it at some point. You do your preset. This is not a DQ for SM57. This is for a shotgun mic that is too far away from me with the gain cranked up. But you do your, gate preset or expander, something that I love to have on everything. EQ, compressor. Oh, that was the insert block. This channel is backward. Hold on. I want this in that order. There you go. Your compressor, your insert point, and you can just select each channel, go home, tool, copy that to everywhere you want that preset to be. And that will be it. You just easily copy paste that. What do you recommend for your vocal chain effects? Are we talking about the whole signal chain or vocal effects, which are two different things? Dynamics, well, actually, I want to point out the difference between dynamics and time-based effect. And I'm going to say time-based effects to just differentiate it from effect. Dynamics are your compressor, EQ, and gate, EQ, compressor. Those are, my bad. Those are playing around with the gain. Let me explain. Those will interfere with volume, so you can also add, if we're talking about more distinguished effect, things like distortion, compression, or saturation, if you want. Those will play around with the dynamic, with how much you send volume or you send energy into it. It's going to play around with the energy. So if you don't have enough energy and you have a gate, it will mute the signal. If you have too much energy and you compress it, it will reduce the amount of dynamic of that signal. And EQ wise, also play around with your gain. Because when you're doing EQ change, you're playing around with gain. You're boosting frequencies, you're pulling down on frequency. It will play around with your gain. So this is why those are called dynamics, not effect, because they only play around with the strength of the signal. They affect the strength of the signal. When it comes to time-based effect, stuff like reverb, delay, chorus, flanger, everything else that I'm forgetting, yeah, basically, those are added to the signal. You take a source, take a channel, and you add delay. You're sending it into a delay, into a reverb, into chorus, stuff like that. Those are not usually, and I'm going to point out, usually insert effects. Those are usually the stuff that you use on a Knox. You can do, of course, with the wing, you can insert a reverb on a snare, play around with the amount of wet and dry. It's another way to achieve the same result. But on most console, this is what I do. When it comes to vocal, because that was the original question, when it comes to vocal, what will be my recommended effects chain? let's go into the console view. The first thing that I like to have is a source extractor. This is an expander, not a gate. This is like a gate, and I'm gonna use the expander gate from the wing to show you guys that. An expander is like a gate, and I'm gonna go 1.5 ratio here on the expander just to show you guys the difference. This is an expander that has a ratio, the knob here, and that ratio is not a hard cut. It's a reduction in dB that you apply on source that has low level. When I'm not talking, and I'm gonna put the range to 60. When I'm not talking, the gate, and I'm gonna do it on my vocal. Actually, no, let's do this on this one. I'm just gonna change. There we go. When I'm not, can you guys still hear me well? When I'm not talking, it clamps down. It's just muting my voice, setting up the threshold here. You can see the amount of dB reduction. It's basically the same thing as I would drop my fader as soon as I'm not talking, but it's doing it for you. Because as soon as the channels is detecting signal, as soon as I'm talking, the VU meter is automating that fader being back up kind of deal. This is an expander. This is a gate. Can you hear the difference when I'm talking into the gate? This is a hard cut. I don't usually anymore use gates. Even for my drums or my snare or my toms, I'm using expander. I'm gonna have a hard ratio of 4:1 on toms and stuff like snare. I would go 1.5 because I don't want my subtle snare hits to make the gate open and not go like it's not opening all the time. Well, when you have a expander on a vocal, if it's not loud enough, you will still get something, but it will be quieter. Basically, this is what it is. EQ wise, well, I cannot say too much about that because I would need, when you take EQ decision, you would need to hear a source. I know for a fact, let me reset that EQ here. I know looking at the spec sheet of a SM58 or hearing or working with an SM58, when somebody talking to these microphones, usually around 280, 300, you have presence, you have usually around 6 dB of low end boost there, and you have usually around 2.6, 3K, and I'm boosting it right now so you guys can hear what I'm talking about. Usually you have a bump there around 3 to 6 dB, and that will depend on the person talking into the microphone. Usually, and I'm gonna get rid of that high cut. Usually, when you're doing this to a SM58, it becomes more flat or closer to your end result. Also add to that a low cut. My low cut starting point is usually around 160. It will depend. If I'm doing a tribute to Johnny Cash, it will probably be open all the way back to 80. If I'm having a girl, sometimes the ladies out there, I can go up to 220 because they do not project. They do not have any low frequencies in their voice. And the only low end I'm going to pick up from this, if I'm opening it up, if I open my microphone all the way like to the bottom, I'm going to hear rumbling noise on the stage, bass amp, bass drum, floor toms, low end of guitar, and I want to get my source to be as clean as possible. So I'm gonna get rid of all that low end information that is not used in that particular microphone. Compression, I'm a huge fan of the no stressor. Also a huge fan of the 1176, which is, hold on, I just need to bring that up, minus 18 roughly, and adjusting to taste. I'm a huge fan of this style of compressor when you have an input and an output and you don't play around with the threshold. I don't know why. I usually always end up using 1176 or using, how am I going to say it? The no stressor or the distressor. And usually my starting point for 1176 is 5.5. That way it's not too aggressive. It's releasing with a 4:1 ratio. Usually I'm really happy with vocal. Now maybe I'm abusing it a little bit with the input at 12. Maybe I can drop that down a little bit and correct the output by 3 dB. Minus 15 here, minus 80 input. The only thing that really matters with 1176 is the input. Seriously, because the input is dictating how much compression that you have. If you, and I'm gonna lower that just to give you guys an example, if you correct 1176 all the way to 0, you can see my gain reduction needle here. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's basically staying steady between 10 and 20 dB. I don't need to have 10 to 20 dB of compression in my vocal. It's just gonna bring up the background noise. I can drop that down a little bit. I can go probably all the way back to minus 15, minus 18 is a good starting point. And after that, you just use the output to really crank the volume back to where you want the vocal to be. If you need more juice, if you have your fader at 0 and you still need more juice, you don't want to have you never want to have your fader all the way up. So you're putting it at 0, cranking up the output gain, and it should usually works just fine. That's basically it for my vocal. When it comes to effects and time-based effects, I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of the blue plate. Is it what's going on here? No, it's not. Let me show you that. I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna use the blue plate. Love this reverb. Always been working fine for me. I usually just open it up a little, around 2.10 milliseconds, 2.1724 in that area, depending on the band. Low cut, usually around 160, 180, could be 250 if you really want to go crazy. Hold on, I'm not showing you guys that. There we go, the blue plate, this is what I'm talking about. Usually, this is my go-to. Low cut, setting up an high cut, 7, anywhere. If your room is bright, just drop it to 2.5K. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a little darker reverb, but it's gonna be fine. It will give you some space. If you have a really good PA with a room that is not too reflective, too bright, you can probably open that up to get definition, but it will be a case per case scenario. I don't really know what's going on here. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That will be my recommendation for starting out with vocals. So again, if I need to do a quick recap, we're just gonna go with a expander, EQ, depending on your microphone, depending on your source, you need to tailor that to the source to the singer. Compression, 1176 could be a really good option. And after that, you don't want to use inserts. You really want to use a bus that you're gonna send your stuff into. But yeah, this is pretty much it. Those will be my recommendation when it comes to effect for vocal as a starting point. After that, you need to adjust that to the singer, and this is why we have Job, because if you could just use preset all the time, no sound engineer would ever work. You would just load a preset and let a computer deal with that, and you need to have the artistic view or have the artistic image of where you want to go with your mix what is the final result that you want to achieve in tweaking the console until you get there. What's else going on in the chat? X32 with Midas DL. I'm gonna go DL 16, not 18 stage box. Does it have your blessing? I didn't know I was any kind of god, and I didn't know if I could bless anything. But X32 with Midas DL 16, yeah, sure. I've been using that for years. Actually, I'm using the DL251 with my X32 core. X32 is just an interface. When it comes to software or the hardware part of the X32 and the M32, I believe they are the same thing. The difference will be in the converter of the preamp that you would choose. So if you buy a Midas DL18 or 16, not 18, if you buy a Midas DL16 with a Behringer console, it should sound as like an M32. The only difference is you will have cheaper or less durable physical interface with the X32. This is the weak point of the X32. The faders are usually wearing out, the knobs getting dirtier faster. So yeah, pretty much it. So I don't know if you have my blessing, but I'd say yeah, I could definitely buy that and definitely can do a show with it. Behringer should add an option on the channel called a regain. So if you change a stage box or inputs or patching, it retains the mic pre-info. I believe it does. I really believe you can change X32 rack, by the way. So yes, the DL16, yeah, or double work just fine, man. Double work just fine. Regain. I know if you save a show on X32, I never try it with the wing. If you save a show on X32 and you have a stage box at the other end, when you load your show, the gain will be recalled for that particular input. Meaning, if you are in an X32 and you switch your setup from local to AS port A, B, or C, the gain will not follow, and the reason is because you can use all the preamp and all the output for different thing than the channel at the same time, and this is the reason why in the whole software, or my understanding of why in the whole software, they are independent and do not recall per channel. Because you can have a band of 24 something input, you can have crowd mic, you can have other stuff that you can run in parallel, send that to your card out, not using them with the console, but they can exist and you can control the gain for them and you can manage them. Example, if I were to play around with the wing doing a band and somebody says, oh, I'm doing video on the other hand and I'm connected Dente to your stuff and I'm gonna add crowd mic and I want to have an interview mic, can you give me the gain? Can you set up the gain for that and route that out to Dente for me? The answer is yes, you can do this with the X32 and you can do this with the wing. Because you can use these input, set the gain up in the source menu, like in the routing here, source. You can take here, AS50C. I got nothing plugged in there, so this is why I'm not doing anything, but you can have, phantom power, you can, phantom power, polarity switch, and you can correct the gain on these and not using it with a console, but it can exist in the whole system. So I believe this is why, or one of the reasons why it's not working on the regain setup. Starvin have a two-way PA system, one main matrix for the subwoofer and another for the highs. But when the bass is playing high notes, it doesn't sound it doesn't sound nothing only with the bass player hit the low notes because it's probably not delivering enough high notes in your setup. This is a tricky part with bass player, and I used to play bass a little, and I know that for a fact. Not all the string on the instrument sound the same level on cheaper instrument, and it's not because you have a lot of low end in your signal that your high note's going to go through. It's a matter of where do they sit in the mix, what is the tone that you're using. After that, as a sound engineer on the other end of what the bass player is sending to you from a signal, maybe, I never really done this, but maybe you would need to do something like, and I'm going to go for a bass tone, maybe you would need to do something like this, where you cut down around the frequency of your sub. Let's say that we have 120. I'm going to get rid of the low cut for this one, just so it's make it better on the eyes. Let's set around 120 is your crossover point for your system, and maybe you want that bass to be EQ'd something like this, because you have too much subs versus the higher note that your bass player is going to send out, and you want to basically run your bass player at a higher level, but you don't want that much sub, because if the guy is sending you way too much sub information, you want to cut that down around your subwoofer crossover point, maybe a little more. Let's go 160. Maybe you need to do something like this, so you have more high-end information and less subwoofer information that you can send in your system. That way you can send more energy of that bass player, and it will be better balance. I don't know if this is going to be helpful for you, but that will be my approach. Maybe you have too much sub. Is it the same thing with your bass drum? This is also something that I need to ask you. Maybe if you have the same problem with your bass drum, maybe you're sending out too much sub volume versus the amount of volume that you have in your higher range part of your system. So what you may need to do is lower your sub matrices, bring up the bass and the kick drum so that they sound more balanced, high end versus low end. This is another approach. It's one of the options, but I would need to hear it really to really know what's going on there. But those, if it's the case, if I'm on the right track here, those are way that you can do this. Those are two options where you can rebalance your system. Also, we discussed the GPIO talk setup the other night. Yes, really fun. I really had a good time talking about GPIO. We did some really cool thing. And I don't know if I have still my cable around, but last week we did some really cool stuff with the GPIO. Sorry, my chat iPad is going to die in 5%, so it will be the end of the stream when that got out. But we're good for a couple more minutes. We're going to go to the 1 hour mark, so we got around 10 to 15 minutes left. Let me read that. Nick had a really good question. Can you mute the source rather than channel itself on the wing? Oh, really interesting question. Can you mute a source with a mute button and not a channel? The reason being is I'm using the P16 or the DP48, so it would mute the source directly and not the channel, so it's not muting the okay, I get it. Also have an electric hold on, Darwin. I'm gonna get back to you. Let's dive into this thing. And first, I'm gonna say hi to Bubba. What's up, man? Good to have you around, as always. I was doing a mute the other day. Can I mute a source? Really interesting. Can you mute a source? You can mute a channel, and I think muting the channel will give you only access to all the 8 matrices, the bus, the main outs, maybe the main. Do we have the main? Hold on, I cannot see it from this angle. Yes, the 4 mains, bus, and channels. Is there any other way that we could have, sorry, it's happening in the GPIO. Is there any other way in the GPIO that we can have access to a source? Other monitor A, B, fader 0, to mix. GPIO can control the GPIO? No. Fader start? No. Nope. I believe the only thing that you can mute is a channel, a bus, or a matrices, not a source. Maybe we could ask. Maybe it could be cool to have an option to mute the source. Maybe somebody will see that, or maybe it's easy to add to the system. So, I don't know. GPIO, mute source. We need to do this. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Okay, so Darwin, I also have an electric kick drum in one channel, but when I don't send the general monitor, on the main, that particular channel is the key where the kick is. Volume goes away unless monitor is set on the main. Ooh, hold on. Why would you send monitor to the main? I'm not sure to understand your question here. Can you try to reformulate that for me so maybe I can have a better understanding of your situation here? Mixing station can automate fader movement and other changing automatically, not triggered by a push button. Oh, maybe that's something that you would like to see. What is your favorite compressor for main vocal? 1176 and or the no stressor. Those are my 2 options. I don't like to hear compression that much. I don't like, to have it pumping. I just like my vocal to be that one thing that is as steady as my bass drum. I like to have, kick and bass really present all the time in my vocal to just sit there and never move. I usually, when I mix, I move the guitar, the keyboard, and the other stuff around the vocal, the bass and the kick. That way I have a steady low end, having a really good steady low end, and vocal going out this way. So yeah, 1176 and the stressor, no stressor from the wing work great. What else? Oh, the Eternal Bliss is really cool. Guys, do you have any? What is your favorite compressor? Let me ask you. What is your favorite compressor in the wing, or otherwise? Maybe there's something missing in the wing that we don't have. And actually, I should do a video about that. And I keep saying that I should do a video about stuff, but I want to explain how the compressor in the wing really work. Because it's not a plugin. And I know I'm going to disappoint a lot of people by doing so. But can I? Hold on. And I'm going to, guys, get ready to be pissed off. All the compressor in the wing are the wing compressor. they are all based on the same digital compression here, but they have different presets, and you're basically changing out preset and image. When you load a compressor, let's go for something easy, the even compressor. This one has a compressor and a limiter. Forget the limiter part for now. It's basically changing when you recall a preset here, like the API, like actually let's go with the DBX. It's a really simple compressor. You have a threshold, compression, and output gain. It's the same compressor here, but everything is set to auto envelope, or other particular stuff is just set to automatic, and they change the crossover mode and the key filter, how they work, like they were designed, or like the original design called for. It's basically, when you recall a compressor, it's basically this that has a new picture on top of it, and it has, you know, the right preset that the designer of the original compressor did. So how do I get the auto comp on this one? I know there's a way to get the auto comp going. Auto envelope, is it auto envelope? Yes, it's just disabling the attack, hold, and release. So when you go auto envelope, RMS, you basically have a 160. You're gonna drop the threshold. You're gonna drop the ratio. Knee will be to whatever the 160 call for. I don't know. It could be really smooth. I think it's more smooth than really hard. And after that, you have the makeup gain, which is the makeup gain here. It's basically just apply an image over the compressor and apply the settings that compressor is known for. This is all there is to it. When you have a limiter, actually plus the two detector and key filter. The X-over mode, the crossover mode, and the key filter. But basically this is what's happening in the compressor and the wing. And we really like that. That's basically it. So I need to do a video covering that in the future, but I need to document myself about what's going on with these setting, and I want to try to reproduce with the wing compressor, do an A/B comparison, and try to cancel the signal, and all the testing that I usually do. So one more question and we'll be out for today. Maybe I will do one later this evening if I feel like it, so stick around for that. Make sure that you subscribe and you ring the bell if you want to get notification when I'm going live. If you guys want to hang out and ask some questions, we can have fun with the wing. Also, if you want to support me in what I do, become a member or a super member of the channel. I really appreciate every single of my member. Thank you very much for doing so. What's up, Rob? I'm almost done here. I wanted to try to answer Darvin's question and we'll be out. So I have electric kick on a channel, but it doesn't have volume on the mains unless the monitor are send to the main. When I send the monitor on the main metrics, I get volume. So it only happened with that channel. Everything else are okay. Have you tried to make a copy of that channel, fully reset the channel, see if it works? If it's not working, try to load your or if it's working, try to load your preset and see if in your preset you have something wrong. I know I used to have this problem with the X32 where channel 1, only channel 1 was not going through the main. I sometime had, for some reason, I don't know why, problem with sending out my kick drum to main. It was just not working. So maybe it's the same thing here. It's under the hood somewhere. But my first thing will be to try to actually reset the channel. If not, reset the whole console. Just see if you can, you do a save a snapshot, factory reset the console, see if you can make it happen just like sending out some stuff, loading in your page back. Maybe it will fix the problem, maybe not, but that will be my approach on that. So I hope that's gonna save your electronic kick, and I hope it's gonna work. On that note, guys, I want to say thank you very much for watching. We just approached the 1 hour mark. I want to keep these videos around 1 hour, and maybe I will probably try to stream tonight. So make sure that you subscribe, like I said before. Also, if you made it this far, like this video. And guys, make sure to join in next week. Make sure to check out your time with the different time zone and time change and time say daylight saving. Bring the beer, Nick. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I need to manually do this checkout. Until the next one, I want you to please, seriously, take care of yourself. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go take care of myself. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. See ya.